Welcome back to Pewdiepie. I'm Zui and I hope you enjoyed today's video. But before we get right into it, I'm obligated to remind you to click either the like or dislike button, commenting something down below, and of course sharing the video so more people can see and enjoy it. This is very important as it helps with the YouTube algorithm. I want you to know that your help is greatly appreciated. If you have any suggestions or ideas for a story, my Discord link is in my link tree that is down in the description, as well as my Patreon and Ko-fi for any donations you may want to send my way. Every cent counts. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's video. In a world plagued by the undead, humanity was understandably reclusive. People were sparsely spread in small enclaves that could barely sustain themselves, hence why many people left these places when they came of age. These people retreated into the wilderness in the hope of founding their own homes, to slowly retake the planet. These people were called builders, and you were one of them. Deep within a large grassland biome, you had settled, growing trees from saplings, cultivating large fields of wheat, pumpkins and melons. And what were you building? A castle. You spent hours mining for materials, chopping trees and hammering nails. However, your solitude had become quite oppressive, yet also comforting. The routine felt as if it was keeping you sane. Yet, the desire to speak with someone never faded. It only got worse at night. Sure, this feeling, while desperately fighting deep inside your mine shaft, both for survival and any scrap of iron you could get your greedy hands on, it wasn't really there. Well, only at the back of your mind, of course, with a simple thought. If I get knocked out, that's it, and no one will look for me. The experience was quite hardcore. But every time you looked up at the moon, when your adventure ended for the day, and it was time for sleep, you felt cold, alone. The noise of crawling spiders, groaning zombies, clanking skeletons, and gurgling endermen, your only companion. Sad, you rolled on your side, staring at the door of your room. In the years you had been working on this, you had created a town that was empty. Why were you doing this? You even had placed all the important things. 3 blacksmiths, 4 butcher shops, a large library, big stonecutter workshops. You even built a weaver shop with a large pen for sheep, despite the fact you haven't seen a sheep in months. You barely clung to your sanity these days. Sometimes you felt as if you just barely caught the glimpse of another person. Only when you faced it, to be met with the landscape you haven't yet turned into more buildings for your town. From what you could guess, they wore a blue shirt, blue pants, had brown hair and a beard. And these striking white glowing eyes. Clearly they weren't human. If they were real to begin with, that is. You were setting up some tables and chairs in a house that you had just finished when the illusion appeared behind you in a window. Its shadow loomed over you, just standing there, menacingly. His shadow engulfed you. You gulped, and quietly continued your work as if he wasn't there. Too scared to blink, or at least until tears began coming out of your eyes. You'd swear you closed your eyes for only the fraction of a second. You'd swear you only closed them for a second, maybe even less. But still, the shadow was gone. Angrily, you got up on your feet. The loneliness, the fear. No, not this time. You would chase this guy to the nether and back. Quickly, you grabbed your enchanted iron axe and rushed outside, looking left or right. You were looking for any sign of activity. Somewhere on your right, a branch cracked. Of course, it was just a random cow, but that was enough to send you towards that direction, weapon ready. You were running as fast as your feet could carry you. Heart pounding, sweat running down your face. You are so deep in the forest now. The smells and sounds were completely different here. Trying to calm yourself, you approached one of the trees. It was incredibly dark. No way. The birch forest near your base was adjacent to a dark oak one. Ha! That would certainly spice up your building work. And then, suddenly, out of nowhere, you heard a loud scream. It was human, and it made you freeze. Damn it. Why now? Someone was in danger. After a few seconds of silence, you brought up the courage and walked forward towards the noise. There, hanging between the leaves of a tree, hung a man. He was only wearing pants and an elytra of all things. You hummed, both amused and strangely impressed. The man's body was muscular and covered in scars. Definitely not the ghost that haunted you. Well, 2 people were better than 1. Maybe this was the lucky start of your village adventure. After all, by now, you had plenty of room. Using some scaffolding you had quickly crafted, you pulled the man down from the tree. He was really heavy, and you seriously considered setting up a tent just to let him sleep in there. But no, he needed medical attention. Taking a deep breath, you swung him on your shoulder, and like a stack of potatoes, he just hung there. At least he was still breathing. You returned to your base and gently set him down in a bed. Just to make sure, you chained him to it, before putting your alchemy knowledge to good use, crafting him a golden apple so his body could heal. The man awoke while you were outside chopping wood. His body ached, and he felt like he was starving. Confused, he looked around. He could have sworn he crashed into a tree. But at least he wasn't eaten yet. An amused hum escaped his lips when he noticed the golden apple on a bedside table next to him. "Thank you, kind stranger," he muttered. But as he reached for it, he realized his right arm was chained to the bed. With a defeated sigh, he just took it with his left. Little too much gold, he thought. When fusing gold with apples to create the regenerating food, the amount of gold dedicated how sweet the treat was. Too much made the healing more potent, sure, but it was so sweet now it was gross, not to mention hard to swallow. Ugh, he groaned as his body began to heal. How he wished a regeneration potion was what awaited him. Golden apples were always so painful and slow. The entire torture probably took an hour, and once the agony was over, he just lied there, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. The man wondered, who saved him? Probably a villager. Maybe it was a cute girl. He grinned. Yeah, that would be perfect. As he was deep in thought, he heard the door to the house he was in open. With bated breath, he sat up in the bed. And then you came into view. Score, cute girl, he thought. Yo, how's it going? He shouted. You shrieked and stumbled backwards into the wall. Whoa, are you okay? Your lips quivered. I haven't heard a human voice in years. Oh, Well, what do you think of mine then? You shrugged. I don't know. The man smirked. Ah, well. Name is Kirishima. Eiichiro Kirishima. I'm a dragon hunter. Or more, I would be if I hadn't crashed my elytra. Dragon hunter? Kirishima looked at you in confusion. You know, about the Ender dragons, right? I'm hunting them. You shook your head. Huh. How about this? You cut me loose and I'll explain everything. You hesitated. What? Trust me, I won't kill you. Promise. That would be stupid. Without saying another word, you left him. It was as if you were on autopilot. Your inner voice was telling you to keep him. You were so alone. And if he left for his dragon quest, you'd be alone again. Not to mention, you haven't seen the ghost since you brought him here 2 days ago. And it wasn't until late in the evening when you returned to Kirishima. You had cooked lamb chops and baked potatoes prepared for him. He greeted you with a hopeless smile and immediately began devouring his meal, while you sat down in a nearby chair. Anno, he said after swallowing a huge bite. If the food wasn't so good and you weren't so cute, you blushed hard at the compliment, I'd be concerned for my safety. After his plate was done, he set it on the bedside table. So, be honest. Why are you keeping me captive? I don't want to be alone again. Kirishima tilted his head. Ah, I see. And I'll assume you won't let me go until you're sure I won't leave. Why did he have to make it sound like you were the bad guy? Well, I already slayed one dragon, shrugged the redhead. That's more than most people are capable of anyways. He smiled at you. Alright, I'll stay. It'll be fun. "3 weeks have passed since then, and Kirishima held his word. He didn't leave you, or your empty skeleton of a town. At least not for more than 2 days at a time. And he always came back with loads of redstone, iron, and even diamonds sometimes. He truly was a magnificent person. It was late at night when Kirishima returned from his most recent expedition. You had seen him approach 2 hours ago from an observation tower you had painstakingly built after he moved in. Knowing this, you had prepared a small encampment in front of your town's gates to greet him properly. You were gracefully sitting on a fallen log, grilling freshly caught salmon fillets when he entered your line of sight. He had a confident smirk on his face, as per usual. And without as much as a hello, he slammed his backpack next to you. You gave him a coy smile. Well, look at you, hero. Check out what I got, he shouted proudly as he sat down next to you. Excited, you opened the bag. Your jaw dropped. It was the heart of the sea. But how? You looked at the redhead with wide eyes. Kirishima, you shouted. You're amazing. I can build a conduit now. I mean, I have no idea what to do with it, but I can build it now. No sweat. No, seriously. You're just giving me it? Kirishima grabbed one of the salmon on a stick and ate it with the widest and brightest grin you had ever seen. It's yours. Crying tears of joy, you wrapped your arms around his muscular frame.
burying your head into his chest, you thanked him over and over. It was like a river of reasons why you cared about him, especially in such a short time. Hey, it's alright, it's alright. He was actually blushing. However, there was a certain phrase in your ramblings that he immediately picked up on. You had just started talking about the figure that had stalked you until he came, and how him being here made it go away, and that you now felt sane again. Wait. Figure? You stopped and looked up at him, eyes filled with tears, face flushed. You said, "Yes, it had these white eyes." Kirishima's face got serious. "Aw, poor thing," he said, in a melancholic tone. Gently he rubbed over the back of your head. You encountered something incredibly rare. It's a phenomenon observed by people suffering excessive loneliness. It's called Herobrine. You blinked in confusion. He sounded so serious. That was rare. To make a long story short, he's like a mass hallucination affecting everyone in this world. When you feel vulnerable, lonely, or weak, or a combination of them, there's a chance he just shows up. I never read of any encounter ending in death, or, well, at least directly. In my village, where I come from, he's considered an omen, and people who see him are given special protection for at least a month. There's this disc my village's elders had found. It recorded the final moments of a lonely miner. It is assumed that whatever got him may have been him, but that's all. I mean, of course this is all just a ghost story. Either way, he's gone now, right? So nothing to worry about. Thank you for protecting me. With a smirk, he gently slapped your shoulder reassuringly. Just don't worry about it. As long as I'm here, no tears. Got it? You walk through the thick forest, alone, axe nestled comfortably on your shoulder. It was a beautiful hot summer day. Kirishima had walked on ahead, leaving you to chop some wood. You were trying out new decorations for the reinforced wooden palisades of your base. Suddenly, however, you heard a loud splashing noise. Concerned Kirishima may be drowning in the nearby river, you rushed towards the noise. But just before you breached through a thick hedge, you stopped. And your eyes widened. Kirishima had discarded all his clothes and was taking a bath in the river. You watched as the water kissed his perfectly toned body. The redhead stretched, releasing a loud, pleased groan as he did. It made you blush, and your legs began to tremble. You really shouldn't peep on him, but this was giving you such an exhilarating feeling. With a pleased sigh, he waded towards the water's edge. He sat down in the stream right in front of a rock, closing his eyes for a moment. You know, he shouted after a few minutes, so that you can hear it. I'm not sure what you're doing in that bush, but if you want, you can take a bath with me. He gave a thumbs up in your direction. And without thinking, you rushed over, unbuckling your belt, pulling off your shirt almost in the same move. Well, someone's just as eager to get naked as I am. thought Kirishima.